Hello and welcome to the Over 50 Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin English. I'm the founder of The Silver Edge, and our mission is to help you get into the best shape of your life, regardless of your age, so you can show up in life as the healthiest, strongest, most vital version of yourself. But before we get to today's show, I want to let you know that this show is brought to you by The Silver Edge. The Silver Edge is my online personal training and nutrition coaching business where we help you get off the exercise and diet hamster wheel and start making permanent healthy lifestyle changes so you can enjoy the second half of your life with strength and confidence and show up as the healthiest, strongest, most vital version of yourself, no matter your age. So if you feel stuck, if you're tired of constantly dieting only to regain the weight back in a shockingly short amount of time, if you're tired of being disappointed and feeling like a failure, we can help. At The Silver Edge, we take a health-first approach to improving your body composition. We don't start a fat loss phase, because let's face it, diets suck, until you're metabolically ready. Bad news is your weight loss goal is going to take a little longer. The good news is that once you reach your ideal body composition, it's so much easier to maintain for the rest of your life. So here's the deal. As opposed to me pitching you on our coaching programs, let's start here. Head over to silveredgefree.com and right at the top of the page, you'll see a link for a free metabolic assessment. Click that and you'll be sent to a form asking you some basic lifestyle, nutrition, and exercise information. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to complete. Submit that and you'll schedule a 30-minute Zoom call consultation with me, and I'll give you my best recommendations on what changes will give you the biggest impact on your metabolic health right now. Again, that's silveredgefree.com and click on the metabolic assessment icon at the top. Okay, enough of that. Let's get on with today's show. Meet Coach Monica. For today's edition of the Coach's Corner, we have a special guest. If you happen to be in our private Facebook group, then you undoubtedly already know who Coach Monica is. Monica is my first employee here at The Silver Edge, and as you'll soon hear, I originally hired her in the role of a community support manager, and she's absolutely knocked that out of the park. Today, Monica still supports me in that role, but she's also coaching clients. Join us today as Monica shares her personal fitness journey and talks about what it's like to work with me and a fast-growing and often chaotic company. Now, before we get to today's interview, let me put this bug in your ear. Monica's plate is getting really full here at the Silver Edge, and she's taking on more operational responsibilities. So between that and her quickly growing coaching roster, I'm going to need to backfill her original community success manager role in the near future. Right now, I'm thinking probably early next year. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, please let me know. The number one qualification I'm looking for is someone who is passionate about serving the over 50 community and wants to help spread the health and wellness message. If after listening to this episode, you think this sounds like you, shoot me an email at kevin@silveredgefitness.com and I can fill you in on all the details. Okay, without further ado, let's meet Coach Monica. Monica, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. I've listened to so many of your podcasts, but I've never actually been on one. So
all right,
awesome.
Here you go. First time on a podcast. Here we go.
Podcast.
All right, we're going to have some fun here. I want to start out by asking you what I ask most of my guests, right? And that's, how did you get where you are today? Let's hear your story.
I think I have a long story, but I'm not sure how interesting it is, but I have a long story. So as a kid, I never was really interested in like exercise so much. I didn't play any sports. I did do dance when I was in, I guess I started in elementary school, went through junior high. It was called junior high back then, not middle school. And went dance, dad, ballet, tap, jazz, loved it. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Kind of stayed fit, physically fit myself through that. Now, my parents influenced me a lot when I was a kid. My dad was a policeman, so he would hit the weights. He had a little workout weight room in our garage. But strangely enough, he never did cardio. He only lifted weights. That was it. Now, my mom, on the other hand, she was a nurse. So we certainly ate a very good diet growing up. We had a huge vegetable garden. We grew a lot of what we ate. Um, so I've always liked vegetables. I've always liked eating good. So that was kind of built into my, growing up from day one. So we got to high school, and I was too busy for dance. Of course, boys came on the scene then. I had a boyfriend, didn't have time for dance anymore. Went to college, and of course, when you first start college, most kids gain the extra 10 pounds as freshmen, 10 pounder there. And
freshman 15.
Yeah, freshman 15. Yeah. Well, one of my college roommates said, "Hey, let's do some step aerobics." And I'm like, "What's step aerobics? I don't know what that is." So, we're gonna watch Jane Fonda step aerobics VHS videotape. So I bought the step bench, and we would do step aerobics religiously, like twice a week. We would get up in the morning, do our step aerobics, and we thought we were fitness buffs. We were getting up and exercising every day, and all of this stuff. So I did that through college. Then after college, I think I did continue with some like just step aerobics, no weightlifting, no cardio, and I ate fairly well, I guess, for a college kid and for 20-year-old. Married, and my husband has always been a little more athletic than me, and he would go running every now and again. So I don't know, maybe I need to start running too. Well, I'm not a great runner, never have been. But, I will go run a mile. So we did, ran a mile a few days a week. But then kids came along, and I would put the kid in the jog stroller and go for a walk or run a few days a week. And, of course, we try to eat well because, I want to influence my kids with good eating. Then the second kid came along, started out 10 pounds heavier with the second kid. Then I did the first kid, of course. Wound up, 20 pounds heavier after the second kid. I said each kid put 10 pounds on me. So, still trying to eat well. When my kids son was probably just started elementary school. My daughter was still a toddler. And there was a YMCA close to my house. So my husband decided, let's check out this YMCA and see what they've got to offer. And they had step aerobics classes there. I said, that's awesome. I love step aerobics. I know that one. So joined the YMCA, started doing step aerobics classes a few days a week. And they had a weightlifting room upstairs, but that was foreign to me. I didn't know much of anything about weightlifting. Never touched a barbell before, Sometimes in aerobics classes we would have like 5-pound dumbbells. If you were really strong, you had the 7.5 or the 10. Right. Yeah, we thought we were big stuff. We broke out that 10-pound dumbbell. Yeah, so did that. Moved a couple of times with my husband's work. Wound up here in Wilmington, and by this time my kids are both in school. And I said, okay, it's time for me to get fit. I had a few pounds overweight also. Joined a local gym. They had just some basic aerobics classes I would go to, again, maybe 3 days a week or something. Still not any really weightlifting or anything. Well, eventually the gym closed, and I was sad because I had made some good friends there, people I would work out with every 2-3 days a week, and so I was really sad when that closed. So I decided, well, I'll go back to running. But you know how that goes. Oh, I'm busy with the kids, got to do that room mom thing at school. Oh, can't go running today, darn. So make all that. Well, my husband's sister, she's always been very, very athletic, started doing CrossFit. It's probably like 8 years ago. She started doing CrossFit. And she started in on my husband. Oh, you guys have got to join. There's a great gym right down the road from you. You've got to join. Well, he finally went and joined. This was in April of 2017. By this time, I am probably 30 pounds overweight. I think I weighed 155 pounds, which might not seem a lot, but it's a lot when you're only 5'3". And so he started at the gym and just fell in love with it immediately. He said that you've got to do this. You've got to join this gym. I'm like, no. I've seen those videos of those people online doing CrossFit. They're crazy. No, I'm not doing that. So he kept after me all that summer. I said, okay, well, when the kids go back to school, I'll go try out the gym and see how it goes. So the day after the kids started in school, I walked into those doors the first day. I didn't know anybody because he would go at a different time of day than when I would go. So I knew nobody in the gym. Walked in there. I said, okay, I'm ready to get started. Let's try it out. Tried out a class, and I was hooked like immediately. It was weightlifting, it was cardio, it was everything, gymnastics work. It was like all wrapped up into one. And just the challenge of it. And everybody was so encouraging because I would walk in there and yeah, I was intimidated. I'd never touched a barbell in my life. Those 10-pound dumbbells is all I had ever worked with. And you know, some step aerobic stuff and occasionally running, which I wasn't ever great at. Anyway, I never enjoyed it. So it was very intimidating, but the atmosphere that I found was so encouraging. It's like, you know what, I can do this. I'm going to stick with it. And it took a while. Started off with 2 or 3 days a week. Eventually went to 4 days a week, and then 5 days a week. And I was like, you know what? I tried really hard not to love this, but I do, is what I realized after about 4 months or something. I was like, I love this. I like doing it a lot. Well, meanwhile, as soon as I started CrossFit, I said, you know what, if I'm going to be doing all of this exercise, I need to double down on my personal nutrition. I've got to make the nutrition side of it match what I'm doing with all of the workout side. Didn't exactly know how to do it, but I said, well, we're going to try something. So, I started cleaning up my diet, eating better, making better choices, trying to eat less sugar. Started tracking on MyFitnessPal, and that was a big turning point for me when I actually took that umbrella look at what do I eat every day. And that was really eye-opening for me. I think it is for a lot of people when they see, hey, this is really how much protein you eat in a day. This is really how much sugar you eat in a day. That was really eye-opening for me. Well, about 5 months into the program, I lost some weight. I was down to, I believe, 140 or so. So I lost, a good bit of weight on my own. But then I plateaued. I stopped. Couldn't really see any further improvements in my weight, the way I look. Couldn't really see any improvements in, my performance in CrossFit. I couldn't. There's still some stuff I wanted to accomplish, of course. So I said, okay, I've got to work on this nutrition side more. So at that point, I started working with a nutrition coach. She opened my eyes to lots of stuff. It was like, oh, wow, I never even considered this. I never even thought this would play into the part of it. But it does. It made a huge difference. It got me over that plateau. I lost 10 more pounds, actually 12 more pounds. I was able to accomplish things in the gym that I never thought I would before. I had never climbed a rope in my life. In fact, I remember telling one of my friends there at CrossFit, she said, you're going to climb that rope one day. I said, girl, the boogeyman would have to chase me up that rope for me to get up it. Right. But you know what? About 3 weeks later, I climbed that rope twice. Right on. Yeah. So at this point, I said, this is awesome. And I got to the point then where I said, you know what? I love CrossFit. I want to be the person that's behind this. I want to be coaching individuals. I want to be helping other people find within themselves what I had found. So I did. I went and got my CrossFit Level 1. And shortly after that is when I did my nutrition coach training. I said, if I'm going to do the coaching thing, I'm going to do all the coaching thing. I'm going to learn all about the nutrition side of it as well. So I went back to school, got my nutrition coaching certification, and loved every single minute of it since. It's been a great ride. I have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's quite a journey there. And I think that's probably not that uncommon, right? People as kids either were or weren't active. You've got a certain subset that were very sedentary and some that were pretty active. But a lot of us roll into that midlife, right? When we have careers, kids, other things going on and all those activities. The kids are, you're basically a taxi driver for your children for a while as they get a little older. Oh, yeah. And if you're an involved parent, you're in their groups and their sports and everything. And we tend to put that self-care on a back burner. And like you said, you find yourself, okay, kids now getting a little older and I'm finding myself all of a sudden 30 pounds overweight, whereas, this is kind of a new phenomenon to me. And again, I don't think that's very uncommon, right?
Common. I mean,
I think it's pretty common as well.
I have a lot of friends who, you make friends with your kids' parents. It's essentially when
Yep.
you get older.
That's right.
And they're all in the same boat I was, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
their life revolves around your kids, and then all of a sudden hey, the kids don't need me as much anymore. Wait a minute, I have no self-care anymore, and I'm 30 pounds overweight. Help!
Right.
Where do I go
Right.
from
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting observation too, because I think a lot of times we find that our peer group is a lot like we are, right? We're comfortable in this
Yeah.
group. And sometimes when you make a major change in your life, sometimes you're shaking up some of that peer group and introducing new people into it, maybe moving away from others. So I love that you talk about you went into a CrossFit gym with intimidation. I've got the same story. You know, my daughter dragged me into one.
Yeah.
But same thing. She was watching all these videos on YouTube. She was following Sarah Sigma's daughter. So we don't know she's a very famous CrossFitter, and I don't know why
Yes.
my daughter was in love with her, but she was
Yes.
madly in love with her, following her on all the social media. He's like, Dad, look at this, and the same as you. I mean, she's doing all the Olympic lifting, and just this, and she's insanely strong and amazing.
She's an
and moves
incredible
well, and
athlete. She really is.
right, and of course, she's at that time she'd have been, my daughter would have been 14, 15, I don't know, and Sarah's probably, I don't know, she was probably 20. So I was thinking, this
Yeah.
is not for me. And somehow she managed to drag me in there. And I had the same experience as you. I fell in love almost immediately. And it's hard even now to really verbalize it as part that community. It was part doing things I'd never done before, because certainly I've done things in that
Yes.
CrossFit gyms, between then and now. And so anyway, yeah, an important part of both of our journeys. I think another important part is, like you said, is now all of a sudden you found yourself being very active, getting strong, and getting that confidence from that. And you wanted to marry the other half of that, the nutrition side, and started to clean up your diet. And that worked until it didn't. Went back, got your nutrition coaching certification, and really went all in, right? You were
Yeah.
coaching exercise, coaching nutrition. And as you know now, you don't coach nutrition and exercise without also coaching lifestyle, things like sleep
It's
and
all part
stress
of it.
management. It's all part of it,
all
right?
wrapped up. It's what makes it's all part of our life all together, and they all play off of one another.
They
Yeah.
do, absolutely. All right, so that brings us up to today. Now, I don't know, it was a few months back when I made a post. I said, hey, I'm looking for somebody to help. My business,
Yeah.
The Silver Edge, is growing. I'm looking for somebody to come in and just kind of help out. And I was, I have a business coach, and my business coach said, okay, it's time. You need to hire what we're calling a CSM, a community support manager, somebody to help you manage what you're doing. And their first piece of advice was, look, you can look anywhere you want for an employee, but if you have a community of people who are passionate about health and fitness for people over 50, why don't you start there? I did. I said, hey, anybody out there want to join my team? Here's the good news. It'll be fun and exciting and growing. Here's the bad news. It doesn't pay very well, at least not right now. So I didn't sell it very well, but you were the first one. You put up your hand, right? So I talked to a couple people, decided, hey, what made you decide, hey, this sounds like a fun thing to do? Because, I mean, you already have a pretty full plate.
Yeah, I already have a pretty full plate. Although the kid side of my plate has gone down a lot, because I have a kid in college now. He's still here at home, but he's pretty much on his own, because he's like
Got another one on the way, right?
another one. I've got a senior in high school, so she is well on her way. We've been doing all the
Right.
college tours. She just can't wait to get out of the house. So I'm fixing to be like totally off the kids' plate radar screen.
Yeah.
But, I was coaching the gym, doing some nutrition coaching as well. But there's kind of only so far I could, grow and take that. So this was back in June of this year, of 2020. And I saw your post, and I thought about it for about 3 minutes. And I was like, I think this can be a step that I can take to expanding what I'm doing, because I love what I do. I really do. But I wanted to take it further and make it into a second career, because the chances of me going back to my old career, my full-time career, was over, because that was 21 years ago, before kids came. So if I was going to make this a career, I needed to do something else beyond just my local gym and nutrition coaching there. So I saw your post, and I thought about it for about 3 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I need to be on board with Kevin. I knew you already from the gym. I knew basically what you were doing online, but not really, I hadn't really looked in your website. I don't know at that time I think I had listened to a few of your podcasts, and I thought they were great. And I knew you did nutrition coaching online and things, but I never checked any of your stuff. But I saw that post and I said, you know what? I need to be on board with Kevin. I think this is where I need to go. So I responded, and I am so glad I did. It has
well,
been
likewise.
great. It has really been a lot of fun. We get to talk to people all over the U.S. every day, all over the world, really.
Yeah.
We get, if people who are listening or watching this have any familiarity with our website, with our Facebook page, we put all kinds of stuff on there, and we get all kinds of posts and all kinds of comments back, and they're really a lot of fun. I hope that what we do is inspiring. I know a lot of people kind of like phantom watch and don't really post back on anything that we put out there, but I hope that people are getting a lot out of it and enjoying it and really finding motivation and accountability for what we do. That's what I needed when I started all of this, and and I continue to need that myself. I find motivation within our group, and people saying, "Hey, I did this and this was awesome." It's like, yes,
right, yeah,
that's so motivating.
Yeah, so for me, you came in, and that's exactly what I needed help with, was with the community side of things. We do a lot, right? We do a lot. We do podcasts. We do all the posting. We have email lists. And I'm so scatterbrained, and you with your engineering background are so organized. I think we make a really good pair. So we started out that way. I said, hey, look, I just need you to help me grow this group, manage the day-to-day stuff, and help there. And very shortly thereafter, I sort of tapped out on the amount of clients that I can take. And I think I put out another post saying, I'm looking for a coach now, an assistant coach. Wonder who that could be. And who do you think stepped up to that, right?
That was
you. Yeah, 100%.
Hey,
no, I never, so somebody's probably wondering, hey, I didn't see that post. We never posted it, right?
No,
I mentioned to Monica, I said, you know what, I'm about tapped out on clients. I'm getting ready to go on a waiting list.
Yeah.
Do you have any interest? I wasn't sure at the time, this was kind of a part-time gig. Are you interested in taking on coaching clients? And I don't know that I don't know how much thought you put into that, but I got a pretty quick response back that saying, yeah, I would really like to be a coach. So now you're wearing a couple hats in the business, right? Because you're still doing all of that original community building, community support.
Right.
And anybody who's in the private Facebook group definitely knows who Coach Monica is. I think at this point you're posting more than I am. So you're kind of the face there, but you're also now coaching clients. So really excited to have you on board. So talk a little bit about that, just that transition coming from coaching on, in person, which, let's be fair, this business only coaches online, but the ideal way to coach and be coached is to be in person. But talk about that transition from being kind of that in-person coach to being this virtual online coach.
There is a little bit of a difference there, because before this, I had only coached people like who were in the gym who I saw every day or a few days a week in person. And it's like, if I had a question about this, I would just grab them after class. Hey, what about this I saw that you put on MyFitnessPal? We're working on this, or how's this going? And can't really do that with people online. I have to send them an email or send them a message through. We use an app called Trainerize that we coach our clients through. So I'll jump on there real quick, send them a real quick message, whatnot. And reverse is true. I mean, the clients, will have to message me to get information. But I try to talk with my clients on a couple of different ways. They can message me through the app. They can send me an email. They can message me on Facebook. We can do a Zoom call. I mean, we try to incorporate everything to meet the client's needs. I mean, I have one client, she's like, Zoom is not for me. I would rather just email. So we just keep it at that. It's quick and easy. That way, she's in a different time zone than I am. She's a couple hours behind me. So sometimes, I'm obviously up earlier than she is, and I'm in the bed before her. So if she, texts me late at night, it won't matter. I'll see it and respond to it in the morning. So it works. And we communicate virtually every single day like that. I have another client coming on board now. He's going to be 3 hours behind. I'm sure we'll be much the same way. It'll be conversations through several different ways, several different forms of media. But it works. Now, as far as like movements and stuff, like things I put on Facebook, like if I was in the gym coaching, and somebody, hey, I want some ab work. We need to do some extra ab work today. Well, I'll make up a little ab work, off the fly, off the cuff, And hey, let's do this after class. We'll get in a little bit of ab work. Or now I have to like video myself doing it. And that's not something I had done really much before. Like the 21 day challenge where I done all of those videos. And that was the most I have ever videoed myself in my life.
Yeah.
I'd never
Yeah.
really done that before, much less myself like exercising or talking or things like that. But and never really done any of that before. So that's been kind of a learning curve for me to get used to doing that. I think I'm getting better. I think I'm improving on it. But had lots of good feedback on that 21 day challenge. It was so much fun to run. I think everybody who participated really got a lot of good information about it, from it. And we tried to make it just good accountability and a little bit of that nutrition and lifestyle coaching along the way. So they got, a lot of good feedback, and we had people, oh, wow, this is stuff I really struggle with. That's a great way of doing it. And I did so well when I was on this. And I had another friend, it was actually a friend in the gym who's here local with me, and she was like, I had never exercised 21 days straight in my life. And she said, this was so great because I had, I would always say, oh, I've got to go work today. I'm just not going to go into the gym. Well, she was on that 21 day challenge. She said, I'm going to the gym today because I want to be able to say I exercised today and got those points. So I felt like it was really, really, really good accountability on it. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And so folks listening, if you're not familiar, we just ran a 21-day Get Lean Challenge inside our private Facebook group. Monica ran the whole thing. She put it together, and you heard her referencing she's never filmed herself so much in her life. So she put she put a little video up every single morning of your daily challenge. Said, hey, This is Coach Monica. Today's daily challenge is this. And she would tell you the challenge. And of course, there were bonus points associated with all this. So it was a lot of fun. And really, when we run those challenges, and folks, if you're a longtime listener to the show, you've probably heard me say something like this before. We love the idea of 21-day challenges, but what we don't want this to be is the winner's not necessarily, say, the person who loses the most weight, because that would lead to perhaps unhealthy behaviors.
Yeah.
Instead, what we're rewarding are people who are active and participating, and our daily challenges aren't eat less and be a slave to the treadmill. Rather, they're healthy habits that we want you to practice for the rest of your life, right? So that's kind of the framework for the challenges that we run. Now, Monica, that was a smashing success. We had 60-something people enroll. I think pretty typical of challenges. Maybe half of them were actively involved in it, right? But I will say this. I reached out to all of those people, and I will say that some of those people, because the people that I didn't see active, I said, hey, I don't know if you had a chance to participate. Most of those people responded back and saying, oh, I didn't publicly participate, but I followed along with all the challenges and got a lot of value from it. So there was kind of, like you said, there's kind of these people that are a little quieter. They don't want to be involved maybe, but they're still getting some good value out of that. So the other big piece of feedback we got, almost immediately, like the day after that challenge was done, we had people asking us, hey, when's your next challenge? What's going to be? When's your next challenge? And of course, it takes a lot of work to put these things together. So do you want to talk a little bit about, let's see, this is going to release here in mid or later part of October. You want to talk about what we're thinking for our next challenge is?
Well, the next big thing we have, of course, this is late October. Holidays are coming up. I don't know about you all, but I need some accountability for myself during the holidays because it seems like my self-care, especially self-care, but my exercise, my nutrition, all goes down the tubes. And I think, it just seems like between the whole holiday season. So our next, I want to say, are we going to call it a challenge or?
We're going to call it a challenge.
Team.
Yeah.
We still kicking around names. Yep. We thought about maybe holiday accountability team, but something along those lines. But we're thinking now it's going to be from Thanksgiving until Christmas, and we're going to have a private group with it, and we're going to hit on all of those holiday things. How to deal with drinking at a party. How do you deal with the holidays at grandma's house where there's everything to eat that's not what you want to eat on your diet. Everything. Stress. How to deal with, sleep. Traveling issues. So we're going to try to wrap it all up into one. Not exactly sure if it's going to be a points thing for like having a winner. We're still ironing out all of those details. Yeah. But Thanksgiving through Christmas is what we are thinking for this challenge. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And you hit on the reason we want to do this. A lot of the reasons is this is a big disruption in most of our lives, right? There's a couple
Yeah.
of things that happen here. So first of all, there's food, there's drinks, there's cookies and cakes and pies and feasts and all of that. So we have all this extra temptation. It's colder out. So maybe those of us that have this practice of going out and walking or running, and now it's getting a little bit colder, we might need a little extra motivation to get out of the door.
Yeah.
But it's also a time for a lot of us, it's a time of anxiety. There's a lot of depression that goes along with holiday
Yeah.
season. So it's not a happy season for everybody. It is for some. But even just traveling to or having relatives come and stay in your house, or you're traveling to other places, you're upsetting your normal routine, right? So there's those types of things. Not all families are warm, loving families, and when they get together, there can be some stress there as well.
There can
so there's
be.
all these little things that kind of come along with the holidays. And another big thing I see is, especially in that space between Thanksgiving and say New Year's, is this mentality of, screw it. Okay, well, I didn't meet my New Year's resolution goal from last year to lose these 30 pounds. I'm still overweight, and now's not the time to start, because January 1st is the perfect time to start. And what we want to say is, well, be that as it may, maybe the perfect time to start is now. And so we're going to help you with this accountability, do some damage control through the holidays. And we want a whole group of people holding each other accountable, celebrating our wins, and frankly, admitting our where we go wrong, go off path, and have other people lift us up. So I'm really looking forward to that. And we're, like Monica said, we're still figuring out how that might look, and if we're going to come up with a point system and have a winner. I like the idea of we're going to finish it around Christmas, so there has to be a winner. We got to give away presents, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's true.
Yeah. So we'll figure out something fun, but you guys stay tuned for that. So Monica, I guess as we're wrapping up here, and I don't know that I've ever said this on the podcast before, but I've got this personal mission to impact 1 million lives. And that just seems like such an audacious thing. Even to hear myself say it right now, it seems like such a ridiculous thing to say. But the only way I'll get there is by basically growing and expanding and continue to create this content, have fun things like challenges, growing groups, doing podcasts. And because let's face it, if you and I, let's say we hire another dozen coaches in the lifetime of this business, and we coach maybe 1,000 people, well, that's far short of 1 million. But if somebody can take something from one of these challenges, if somebody hears something that a guest says on one of the podcasts and it changes the trajectory of their lives, then it's all well worth it, right? So I have this rather audacious goal of really, really bringing this message of healthy, strong, vital aging to as many people as possible. And I'm really, really happy that you're my first person on board, right? We've just got another person on board who's kind of helping us a little bit with our social media. I'm very, very hopeful that I'm gonna talk to somebody later this week about maybe coming on board to help with editing and producing podcasts. But as we grow, certainly I see your role here growing as well. And really, I just want to take a minute to thank you for all the hard work you've put on. And when I say I'm paying Monica peanuts right now, I am for all the value that she is adding into this business. She's going to end up getting some shares or something. I don't know.
That would be nice.
We'll have to discuss that offline, I think. But at any rate, yeah. So any parting thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. I am so glad that back in June I responded to you when I did, because it's been a game changer. I've loved every minute of it. It has been awesome. Now, yeah, my husband's in the sidelines going, but are you making any money? Are you actually,
Yeah, show me the money.
Making any money here? I want to retire at some point.
Right.
We'll get there. But
we'll get there.
It's been so much fun. I have really enjoyed it. I am so thankful that I did respond to you when I did. And I'm excited for what the future holds. I think that you can meet your goal of 1 million people that you have reached.
Oh, I do too.
You have touched their lives in some way, that you have enriched their healthy aging and enabled them to get into those and, reach the 80s, 90s or plus. As a healthy individual, right. and enjoy life and love this second half of our life. And I want to be right there on board with you. I mean, if I can help you with meeting those, 1 million people, I want to be right there by your side. It has really been a lot of fun. And, I wouldn't say I wouldn't have the lofty goal of 1 million people, but that's why I initially got into I decided that I wanted to be a nutrition coach and a exercise coach is because it made such an impact on my life. It, totally turned around my way of thinking. It has just had such a big impact on me that's why I wanted to do it. I wanted to share it with other people and say, hey, there is a way that we can age gracefully. We can, go into our elderly years being able to do whatever we want instead of being limited by what we can do. I have no limit on what I can do, and I love that.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that. And I suspect most people in our field, most coaches come in that way, right?
Yes.
I think that's a pretty common story. It's made such an amazing impact on our lives, and we feel so passionate about it. We want to share it with other people, and I think that's pretty common. I don't think anybody gets into coaching for the money.
No.
Nobody's in it for the dollars, but that's okay because we're in it for the rewards, right?
Yes.
It is a very rewarding and rich path to walk. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for the short term. We have done some planning for this quarter, so we know what we're going to do through the end of this year, but we're just getting started. We have some really fun, exciting ideas for next year, starting in January, February. So Q1 next year, we'll have some more fun stuff for you folks, but it has been a lot of fun, and I really want to thank you again so much for coming on, and not just coming in and deciding that you want to be a part of this, but really for throwing your whole heart and soul into this business, into these people. Really, that's what's happening. So,
Oh,
great stuff.
It's been my pleasure. I have enjoyed every single minute of it, Kevin.
Great. All right, we're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
All right, Monica, tell these folks how they can get in touch with us and tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Easiest way is through our website, silveredgefitness.com. You can email me, monica@silveredgefitness.com. Through our Facebook page, look for Over 50 Lean Body Blueprint is our private Facebook page. Answer a couple of questions and you're in. That's a very quick way to reach me because I'm on there every single day. Yeah, so reach out to us, guys. We would love to hear your feedback.
We would love to hear your feedback. Yeah.
What does everybody else want to do in the future?
Oh, that's a great call to action right there. Folks, if you're listening to this, especially if you're active on the Facebook group, but even if you aren't, you can always not everybody's on social media. Feel free to email us. I'm Kevin at silveredgefitness.com. Monica's Monica at silveredgefitness.com. But yeah, let us know what you'd like to see in the future, what kind of programs, what kind of fun challenges you guys would like to see. But love to hear your thoughts and suggestions. And folks, I will make sure, as always, that I have links to everything we talked about down into the show notes, so you can find that there. And I think I'm going to take us out here. Monica, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Kevin. I enjoyed it.
Okay, that's our show for today, folks. Again, I'll put links to everything we talked about in the show notes, and you can find that over at silveredgefitness.com/episode 146. And don't forget about our free metabolic assessment. This is a great way to jumpstart your stalled health and wellness journey. You can find that again over at silveredgefree.com. As we wrap up our time together today, you can show your support for this show in two important ways. One is to tell a friend about this podcast and encourage them to give it a listen. The second is for you YouTube folks to click the like and subscribe buttons. And for you podcast folks, give this podcast a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, and be sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss future episodes. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today. And until next time, stay strong.